I think my character, she has a sort of hope for what life they could have compared to what they've got. No work, well, very little work, rations still, the country's a bit of a mess. And I think for her, going there, even though it's intimidating and it's scary, that's her chance to get her family back, you know, together in a good place and provide stuff for her kids that she couldn't do in the UK.
The catalyst initially is Terry's behaviour and Terry's struggles with alcohol, which we later learn are, he's using alcohol to help with his, I guess it would be PTSD, but he wouldn't have known that back then from his experiences in World War II. The hope of coming to start a new life and start afresh. There is that challenge, and I think also Terry is hopeful of, right, this is a fresh start, but then when, the job opportunities are not what they were promised and fitting in with his work colleagues, he's not welcomed in with open arms initially, and then try and fit in. There's an incident early on in the first episode where he has to fit in, and he's invited to the pub, which is, first of all, the first red flag, and not a good idea. But in order to fit in, he has to do that, and then obviously trouble ensues.
Three things. One of them is the history, learning about the history of the migration scheme. I think they can also expect some great drama.
Yes.
And I think, that it's funny as well. It's not just a kind of tragic story. That it's quite funny too. So I think there's lots of things.
I knew very little about the migration scheme and 10 Pound Poms. It was once, we got the job and then started to do the research. It actually transpires that my mum's family back in 1965 were all set to move to Australia. They'd been to Australia House, they'd sold up everything, they were in Manchester. And at the very last minute, my great-gran Mabel said to my gran, Maureen, don't go, because if you go, I will never see you again. And then when you think about that, obviously, we were so far away, but because of, modern technology, you feel like you're connected. I was still able to be on the phone and connected to people, but it was a 6-week trip for them. And obviously they had to stay there for 2 years. Otherwise they had to pay to come back. And it was just so much further, or obviously the distance is the same, but it's so much further in those days. And, you might get a letter. It's not like you're in touch. And so often, again, it is documented that people would go and never see certain members of the family again if they chose to stay out there.
And a quarter of people actually returned, from from everybody that went out there. A quarter came home because they couldn't do it, So the lucky ones, I suppose, because it cost a full fare to get back, which I think isn't like the equivalent of $5,000 or $6,000 today.
I'm not sure. It was very cold. I know I get there before you.
It was very, very cold.
When we arrived
in Australia,
it was.
What was that? La Nina, is that right?
El Nino.
This weather system that only comes round like once every 25 years, came round the minute we landed, and so it rained. So it was like being at home. And then when we were filming in Carco, the town that time forgot, it actually was snowing in Australia. So
the frustrating thing is, on camera, it looks amazing all the way through. But there was a lot of, okay, Faye, look warm,
blue lips, and shivering in tears because I'd been out there for 12 hours and I was wearing tights,
But it did warm up, and just filming in Australia, great place, really friendly people.
Yeah, gorgeous people. Yeah, it was great.
Let's go back and do some more, shall we?
All right then.
For Best Series goes to
10 Pound Pom.
Please welcome screenwriter Mr. Danny Brugglehurst. Executive producer Miss Joel Wilson.
Okay, so how does it feel, first of all, best series?
Amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Best series.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it struck such a chord with the jury?
Well, I think because these two have such a wonderful chemistry on screen, and this man wrote such a brilliant script.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
take that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And of course, you know,
But absolutely nothing to do with it.
the producing was, you know, exemplary.
Exemplary producing, yes.
I think we just chanced upon an amazing script and an amazing group of individuals all at the top of their game,
Yeah.
coming together to work together to do their best to tell a story. And when you're working with amazing human beings, well, this is very strange because I had no idea. I knew obviously we came for the series, but I was told today that I was nominated, so that was a bit of a shock, and had not prepared anything. This is amazing to share it with you guys and
the hard work that got put in, and everyone that, you know, worked on this. It's nice to be
It's for them, really,
recognised.
isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll see you next year then.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Friends of the festival.
Fantastic.